Next, a story you heard first on the Politics Show, a plan to take courts into the heart of communities where crime is at its highest. Now it's developed into a full-scale row between an MP and the local court service. Our political editor, John Hess, reports.
When it's so close to Christmas, there's an excuse to be sentimental and rather nostalgic, even on the Politics Show. But this is a Christmas tale of political disappointment and recrimination. It was so much different 3 years ago.
Judge David Fletcher.
It was all rise for Judge David Fletcher in a Politics Show special. He came to Nottingham to give local residents and a city MP a glimpse of a community court in session.
It's not an easy option. Some of the requirements are very, very tough indeed. And if these people actually manage to get through that sort of a programme, the experience is that they come out at the other end less likely to reoffend.
The idea had come from New York, community justice for community-based crime.
Win the trust back of the communities out there who currently see the criminal justice system as distant and far away and not really relevant to their problems.
Also among the programme's audience, a local resident, Jill Bainbridge.
One of our main problems is gangs of young people on the streets.
So Nottingham lobbied the government. If Liverpool and Manchester were to get Britain's first community courts, it wanted them too. And the city had won over a powerful political ally.
There will be a community court in Nottingham, and it will listen and demonstrate to the public they've got their own court.
But despite the enthusiasm and the political backing, plans for community courts in Nottingham have now been scrapped, and the blame game has begun.
I'm very, very annoyed that the local communities have been activated and energised. They've been let down, and it just seems that the judges and the magistrates aren't playing for the team. Everyone else is tackling crime in Nottingham, the police, probation, local communities, and it just seems that the judiciary are not playing their full part as partners in the city of Nottingham.
This is the Aspley Community and Training Centre. It was one of the 6 proposed sites for the network of community courts in Nottingham.
We've got an emergency item on the agenda.
Jill Bainbridge is secretary of the Residents' Association here and has spent 3 years campaigning for a community court. And now?
Extremely disappointed. I think out of all the attempts of community courts, Nottingham had a specifically difficult challenge.
And on estates like this, where crime is no stranger and justice can appear distant, the people who live here are angry.
It upset me to think that all the money that was spent on the meetings, all the volunteers that had wasted their time.
I'm annoyed. I've put a lot of time and effort in, same as the rest of us here. I feel that for everything that we've tried to succeed in what we're doing, I mean, I looked into being a magistrate myself because I thought, you know, that's something I'd really like to do.
The finger of blame points to here and to Nottingham's court service.
This is people in the judicial bureaucracy in Nottingham who've decided they'd rather sit in their nice, comfortable, warm Crystal Palace right in the middle of town rather than be out on my estates or in the inner cities of Nottingham, where justice needs to be seen to be delivered by people who are suffering crime.
Despite repeated requests from the Politics Show, the court service refused to be interviewed. But in a statement, the court service says it's rolling out the principles of community justice to every part of the city, with every area having its own community justice team. It's the approach, it says, rather than the buildings in which it's delivered, that are at the heart of community justice. The Politics Show understands a key factor was the court service's demand for exclusive access to community buildings when in session. Also concerns about security and, more fundamentally, would there be enough cases to make it worthwhile? A senior local Labour politician says they have a case.
If the will of those who are in charge isn't strong enough, and it obviously isn't in this case, then it's not going to take off. And that is the real problem. And so I don't think there is a great deal of future for it in Nottingham. I think the economic circumstances have changed, and I think that crime is going down because of many other reasons as well, and so the momentum has gone.
Back on the Aspley estate, and school governor Glyn Jenkins is one community activist who hasn't given up.
I'm amazed to find that they are thinking of trying to end the process, because all indications were that everyone was right on board with it and thought that it was exactly what we needed. I still think it's exactly what we need.
Community courts aren't going to come gift-wrapped to Nottingham this Christmas. They're unlikely for some time to come.
Well, the latest is that Graham Allen will be meeting the Justice Secretary Jack Straw next week to try to get his proposal for community courts back on track.